objectives. First, apply the varieties and registers of spoken and written language in the proper context. Second, identifies 8 different domains in various language. Third, learn how local and global languages usage.
Initializing. The spoken mode is often associated with everyday registers, while the written mode is strongly associated with academic registers. However, this is not always true. For instance, everyday communication, face-to-face conversation is usually supplemented by text messaging. In academic content, significant forms of oral communication are used along with written communication significantly. Both everyday or academic communication are characterized by multimodality or the use of multiple modes of communications including spoken, written modes, and images, music, videos, gestures, or etc. So there are the different modes in language, may it be spoken or written. When we say spoken, most likely associated to us in everyday conversation, and then the written is academically, but for some cases, sometimes is not always true. In instance, we can both use a spoken mode or written mode simultaneously. Example, it means we can use written mode just like we're writing an essay and our teacher will ask us to deliver it in front of the class, and in that way, our written output may be spoken out loud. So it means we use the two mode of language. In communication, we use the two mode of language. We can be multimodal, so we can use the multi-modes that the picture says. Example, a lot of modes. May it be written, spoken, images, or video and audio. Because at the end of the day and at the end of the story of the communication language is that we conveyed our message and purpose to deliver it well in our audience. So either we delivered it by spoken or written.
Concept grounding. Varieties of spoken and written language. Lean 2016 presents the following nature of variation as prescribed by most linguists based on ideas of Mabu 2014. Number 1. Language varies when communicating with people within local and outside global or country. So our language varies when we are communicating in local and in global. So when we are communicating in local, example, we are talking to our neighbor, family, or friends, it is very casual because we use language or terms that they also understand. We use language that is more common in our community. Example, we use Bisaya or Tagalog because this is our local language. But when we are communicating outside in our community or country, for example, in America, so we use English because they understand that language. And our approaches is way different from local because in global it is more formal because we are talking to different people or different countries. Number 2. Language varies in speaking and in writing. Yes, of course, it is different because speaking can be heard, while in writing, it is only written and read. Another example of it is there are some people that is good in writing but not in speaking. But there are also some people that is good in speaking but not in writing. So how do we say this? In speaking, the emotions is directly implied, whereas in writing, because some people doesn't know how to use proper punctuation marks, so we don't know how, or we don't know if they are happy, sad, or mad because they use wrong punctuation marks. So that's how language varies in speaking and in writing. Number 3. Language varies in everyday and specialized discourses. In everyday language, so when you say everyday language, this is when we are talking to a family or a close friend. So this is way more informal or casual. But when we say specialized discourses, this is when we are talking to a teacher, a principal, or a mayor. So it is way more formal. Like, hi, hello ma'am, good morning, hello sir, how are you? So it is way different on how we approach to our family or close friends. So that's how language varies in everyday and specialized discourses.
According to Mabub 2014, identify 8 different domains in which language varies depending on the combination of the different values of the 3 dimensions, field, tenor, and mode on the context of communication. The 3 dimensions of the text of communication. First, the field is what the communication is about or what in the context of the topic of the communication. The second is the tenor, refers to who you are communicating with or who are the people taking part in the communication. The last is the mode, refers on how you are communicating with, whether it is spoken or writing communication. So, that are the 3 dimensions of the text of communication.
The first 4 domains include language variations that reflect local usage done in one local languages depending on the context. They vary in the following ways. 1. Local everyday written. These may include instances of local everyday written usage found in the neighborhood posters. For example, one day beads pieces, or charcoal for sale, ice for sale. So, that is one of the example of local everyday written. It can be usually done through posters. Number 2. Local everyday oral may occur in local communication among neighbors in everyday, informal and local varieties of language. For example, we greet our neighbors or we exchange our foods to them. We greet our friends or relatives. We actually use informal, casual varieties of language. We use jargons, slangs, and other terms that is already known or common in our community.
Number 3. Local specialized written. An example of local specialized written usage can be found in the publications and websites such as the Baguio Medlan Courier. So when you say local publications and website, it is only here in the Philippines or it is only here in our country. So when you say publications from the word public, it refers to act or process of producing something to make it available to public. So what are the examples of local specialized written? Example, TV Patrol. It is only here in the Philippines, right? So TV Patrol, they specialize publishing news and they also have websites just like GMA News, TV5, and newspapers. So that are one of the examples of local specialized written. Number 4. Local specialized oral involves specialized discourses. For example, in a computer shop in the neighborhood, specialized local usage can be found. Example given, specialized computer game related vocabulary is used. So another example of this is when you are talking to 2 people. Example, you are talking to a doctor and a tailor or a dressmaker. So when you say needle to a doctor, it means needle in syringe. But when you say needle to a tailor or a dressmaker, it means for sew or for sewing. So the words or the terms are the same but the meaning is different. Why? Because you are talking to a different people. So that is one of the example of number 4.
On the other hand, the other 4 domains involve the global usage. These 4 domains of the language use is different from the first 4 domains, since they refers to the context of the language usage, where the participant need to communicate with the people not sharing their local ways of the using language. They are as follows. Next is global everyday written. Avoid local colloquialism to make the text accessible to a wider community of readers. This can be found in international edition of newspapers and magazines. So, learn to avoid local colloquialism. Now we're talking in global platforms. Avoid using slang words just like loads, turn, moms, youths, and etc. And also because of jargon. They are gani sense that only people within society can know it. Example in Surigao, let's say, are not applicable in the other community like GG, Share ko lang, SKL, or OPW, Wood, and etc. To make the text accessible to the wider community of readers, in publishing newspaper or magazine, make it sure that you will translate it into international language, which is English, for everyone to understand. Will of course not use your local language because might be your readers are professional, scientists, or have a high standard. That's wrong. Again, avoid local colloquialism. Is global everyday oral may occur in interaction between people coming from different parts of the world when they talk about everyday casual topics. For example, if you have a friend, family, and relatives in abroad, you can communicate them with the casual topics. When you are communicating or interacting between people from different countries, you can message them in a casual style, just like, "Hi there, what's up, how are you?" and etc. This refers to a casual communication that used among to converse with the people from different countries. It is because sa casual conversation with the people in your locality, you use your own dialect, but also it is different in a casual language that they use with the people from different country, although they are both using casual conversation or normal conversation, but the dynamic is using different.
Number 7. Global specialized written expands to as many readers internationally, hence the non-usage of local colloquial expressions. So, as far as I know, there are a lot of websites internationally and there are publications international that publish internationally. So these publications or these articles, because they will expand to us many readers around the globe, they should not use, so therefore they don't need to use local terms or colloquial vocabulary or words. Because again, the readers and their audience was in global. So therefore, they will act formal and use right terms. Number 8. Global specialized oral occurs when people from different parts of the world discuss specialized topics in spoken form. So, whether in a paper presentation sessions, in an international academic conference, like for example, there are globally presidentials held conferences or meetings on different leaders in and every nation. In that case, they will discuss special topics like economics or politics. Then they will use global specialized oral language that they will understand each other's. Also, they will use formal terms because in different people from different parts of the world will talk about it. So, that's all and thank you. Goodbye!